I had someone who gave me the advice that said, be the swan and not the duckling. And the story there is what your team needs to see from you is that you're calm, you're gliding, you got this. Not that you're paddling furiously underneath the water. So less of that visibility to your team and more, I'm here, I got you, we have this, let's go.
So you're an operations leader. And do you think there are certain things that operation leaders can do that actually stress an organization more than is necessary? And do you have any examples of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I sit over a whole lot of various components of operations, and a big portion of it is client delivery. And so if you think about, at the end of the day, these are individuals who have been tasked with making sure that our clients' expectations are being met, fully, wholly, and that everything is going smoothly from A to Z, right? And when you're working with a lot of people and humans, everything does not perfectly go the right way each and every single time and every step of the way. So I think as leaders over individuals that work in the client delivery space, in the operations space, it's letting them know that we don't expect perfection. We do expect for everything to go well based upon their training. We expect for them to shine as client service delivery leaders, as operation leaders. However, we are there to help them. Things will go bump in the night. What's important is how we react to things going bump in the night and making sure that we maintain our calmness, maintain, our training, make sure that we know how to get through this, right? So we can react to something that goes wrong and we can get upset about it and we can, blow things up and we can have folks that are going and being very, very critical of others, but that's not helping anybody learn. It's not helping anyone foster better habits. It's not helping people do better the next time. So, I think, again, as leaders, we have to be there to lift our teams up and we have to be there to coach them and help them and get through things. But we have to do it in a way that supports them and, again, lets them know that we have their backs at the end of the day.
Are you a reactor?
I'm not. And which is kind of funny. I actually had somebody ask me if I had a pulse once. I'm not a reactor. It is what it is. But no, I think, again, it's, okay, that happened. What are we going to learn from it? What are we going to do about it? That's the face, right? Outwards towards the organization. It doesn't mean like inside, I'm not like, oh, crud, how the heck did that happen? And what are we going to go do about it? And how do we, make this better, et cetera, et cetera. But I think it's very important to not overreact when things occur and to really make sure that you're going back and getting to the root of the issue and, not putting like how upset you are on display that something didn't go right or something got dropped or something like that.
Now, from what I do know of you, though, you've done the work to not be a reactor. It's that we joke about that comment. Someone asked you if you had a pulse, but you've probably worked really hard to be able to be this way.
Very difficult. So there's another story about someone that I crossed paths with in my past. And again, maybe he's out there watching it. You never know. But very early on in my career, I did feel like I had to jump in and I had to solve everything, right? And I had to be the savior, so to speak. And whenever there was an issue, immediately hop on it and deal with it. And, I had someone who, gave me the advice that said, and I don't know if you've heard of this before, but, be the swan and not the duckling. And the story there is, what your team needs to see from you is that, you're calm, you're gliding, you got this. Not that you're paddling furiously underneath the water. So, less of that visibility to your team and more, I'm here, I got you, we have this, let's go. Probably couldn't have received better advice at that point in time in my career because it really did make me stop and think, what am I doing and how is it being viewed by others? And how do I want to be viewed by others as a leader in the organization. Very, very important advice that I got at a very critical time in my career.
Well, and then how did you make that shift? Was it the awareness in itself, someone pointing that out to you?
It was number one. He was pointing it out to me, so that was certainly something that had to make me stop and think, because I didn't know that I was putting that out there into the atmosphere, so to speak. But I think it's anything in life. It's okay, that happened. Stop, pause, acknowledge it happened. Right? Okay, it's there.
Now you can't unsee it.
And I see it, want to see it. It's happened. I acknowledge it. Now, can I control it? And then now what am I going to do about it? And it's really trying to take a methodical approach towards, whether it's work, whether it's personal, whether, it's anything else that's going on in life. It's trying to just catch your breath for that second instead of immediately reacting to something. And that's a long time coming. And I have to stop and remind myself several times a year, a month, a week. Stop, pause, take it in, now figure out what you want to do with it, because it's not natural. It's not a natural response.
Well, I think that's such great advice for the audience, is to take that pause and run it through that filter of, can I control it? Yes, no. If yes, then what am I going to do about it? I think that's such a great piece of feedback for people. But it sounds like you don't wait until the pain gets great enough to do that anymore. You're at the point where you're running most things through that filter, and that's what's helped you be that swan.
Yeah, I think it is definitely an acquired approach and ability to be able to
Yeah.
do that. It like I said, it doesn't come natural. It's not something that goes without having to make yourself stop and say, "Hey, you know,
Yeah.
pause." And again, it doesn't mean like you don't call your confidant like an hour later and go, "Oh my gosh, I got to tell you what I was just dealing with." But again, when you are leading people, when you are leading teams, and when you are trying to set the stage to make sure that everyone understands, hey, this is a learning experience, we will get through it. You can't be that person that's overreacting and overcorrecting at times. Maybe taking steps that you don't even need to be taking because you feel like you have to do something, right? Sometimes you need to let your team do, and you're behind the scenes, and your role now has transitioned more into coaching, mentoring, developing, and not the one that's always doing everything.
Interesting. Do you think it's more common to find the reactor overcorrector than the swan?
I think it's human nature, yes. And I think sometimes it's an expectation of, the thought that somebody's out there saying, like, what are you doing about it personally? Right. And I think we all kind of hit a point in our career. And I was just having a conversation with someone earlier today about it, where it's what are you doing? But now it's what am I doing for other people? And how am I giving them the skill set to be able to cope with this when this happens, when, it's their turn to have to manage this and lead with.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a huge focus of what we do at Spirence, is help people foster that self-awareness, because that's really the first step. And then it's going out and fostering the communication skills too, like to your point, take that into your relationships, take that to the people, the colleagues, and even your family at home.